Hello everyone, and welcome to Nimbatus, the Space Drones Constructor. So this is a game that's made by Stray Fawn Studios. So they made another game I've played on this channel called Niche, the genetic survival game. So we played Niche for a while on the channel, and the developers actually noticed my videos, and they sent me a code for this game to try out for the channel. So I'm super thankful that I've been given this chance to take a look at this game with you guys. I've watched like one previous video sort of on what the game is about, but I know you make drones that then have to go and try and complete tasks. So we're gonna start up with the tutorial because I have no idea what I'm doing. So we have some basic tutorials and then some optional advanced tutorials. Automation, and we want to play in competitive modes. So, we're going to start with the basics. How do we move? So drag thrusters and fuel tanks from the panel at the bottom into the canvas and attach them to your drone core. To use your thrusters, you have to assign a key to them. Use your mouse wheel to rotate parts. Use the arrows on the right to go to the next page of the tutorial. Press the key to activate your thrusters. If you have trouble controlling your drone, try building it symmetrically. Turn on the center of mass indicator, located in the top left if you need help with symmetry. Touch and activate all red beacons to finish this tutorial. Okay, so here's our very, very basic drone. I don't think we're ready to launch. We have a fuel tank and we have a thruster. So, we can talk about the grid, we can talk about the background. We have parts with unassigned keys, we have no fuel. Okay, so our center of mass is kind of towards the back. So we need a fuel. So this has to be placed outside. Okay, so wow, okay, you have a lot of control about rotation. So this is interesting, this is cool. So we can put 2 fuel on it like that. We can put additional thrusters on like that. So we need to assign keys. We have overlapping parts. So I assume we're not supposed to have overlapping parts. Yeah. So our center of mass is pretty far back in our drone. It's not towards the front. Just having your fuel tanks towards the front seems like a recipe for, explosions. So let's see if I can assign W. So this is crazy. It's completely customizable. So we've got 2 fuel tanks. That's all we've been assigned for this. So let's launch the drone. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got us off our center, which was like my first mistake. Oh my goodness. I've done... Oh my goodness. Okay, just go. Okay. So we probably would have done better just to have like this one at the back, but we do still need to turn. I wish we had a little bit more control. Okay. I imagine you can get quite good at figuring this out when you learn your keys a little bit better. Okay, so this is the back one. I have just shoved myself into this box. So we can kind of Just move ourselves over that. Okay, maybe we should just always try to have... Okay. I'm like, maybe if we always have that back booster going, we'll do a little bit better than if we're constantly changing between the two of them. Alright, so we've done basic movement, battle, advanced building, and resource gathering. Oh my goodness, so much to learn! Build a flying drone like in the first tutorial and attach weapons and batteries to it. Don't forget to assign a key to your weapons. Destroy all green targets to finish the tutorial. Okay, so we now have thrusters. We can like extend them out pretty far. Now that I feel like would probably increase our rotation when you know, if we built them out here, I think our rotation would increase. I'm not like the best physicist on the planet. In fact, I'm very much not the best physicist. I was not that great at physics in college. I did okay. Okay, so I mean, the problem here is that, you know, so I might have overdone some things. I guess you can have like stuff like this it's saying is okay. This looks kind of silly. Where's our center of mass? Okay, our center of mass is actually pretty close to the center of the drone, so that's pretty good, if I do say so myself. So... we need to make sure that we have, like, so... I wish we could just set the same key to all of these. So, like, how will we... So, space... Oh, we can. I can just tell them to fire all of them. Okay, so we had this before. It was like... W for that... S for that... A for that. Okay, so now everything has assigned stuff. We have batteries, which I assume affect our ability to fire, and we have fuel, which I assume is affecting our ability to move. Okay, we got the first one. Why are those going backwards? Oh, does it go? Oh, they fire at my mouse. Okay, that's not a target. I didn't know if they were. Okay, so I see a little bit better now. Now, if only I could direct with my mouse. I feel like, you know, I could do that. Okay, so we are simply out of range. Gotta get in range. Okay, so these are not the world's most accurate attackies thingies. So you can see that not all of them are hitting them. Now we're probably not making this any better by being so far away. I also assume that we're depleting our batteries, but maybe because this is the tutorial, it's just like, well, you have a battery, so we're acting like you're not depleting them, even though you totally are. Because, you know, it's one thing to be like, alright, we destroyed them all very slowly, but we did destroy them all. Alright, advanced building. This doesn't seem like a basic tutorial, but, you know, I will listen to the game. I assume they know what's up. Oh. Link parts together by dragging them onto other parts of a bigger and more complex drones. Yeah, sounds like fun. Linking too many parts to a single one may make your drone unstable. Shorter connections are more stable than longer ones. Find a way to touch all the beacons at the same time to finish the tutorial. Okay, so we just need to make a big drone. So we have large blocks, we have basic blocks, we have boosters, and we have batteries, and not batteries, sorry, fuel. That seems to be all we have. So we have no fuel. So we'll fix that. We're gonna have fuel. So it seems like we just need to build like a big ol' thing. So maybe we don't want this actually. No, I want to delete this. How do I delete it? So you can have skin sets. That's interesting, but I want to know how to get rid of it. Oh, okay, there we go. You just have to right-click it. And it'll go away. I didn't assign keys to anything because I am silly. Alright. There we go. I'm not entirely sure why this is going so poorly, but it is. So clearly I don't understand how physics works. This is completely unstable. So we need stability. So let's talk about stability. I wish we could have connectors, like... So our center of mass is pretty centered. I'm guessing that it's the big blocks on the outside that need to go away. So I'm thinking we have this probably backwards. So we need to have the big blocks towards the center. We want them here. Because if we have these closer to our center of mass, then we can have our smaller blocks more on like the outside, and hopefully we're very, very front heavy right now, so I want to make us a little bit more back heavy. We can attach blocks to this? I'm not convinced this will fly either, but you know, we're gonna try it. I don't think it should have. Not stable. Not stable at all. Okay. So, and it just doesn't look big enough either. Like, it just flat out does not look large enough to deal with what we're dealing with. So I don't think we can hit all of those things that we need to hit. like zoom out on this grid? Cause like I can't. Okay, we can. We totally can. So we can do stuff like this. But like I want stuff connected up to each other. I think that's our biggest problem. Can we like double? I want things connected up to more than one thing. Does that make sense? But we can't do that as far as I know. It's saying that this one's stable. Somehow. Okay, so it's not gonna be big enough though. Yeah, we're just too short on those sides. So these two sides we're just too short on. I don't know if we can just extend them like this and hold our stability. I have to admit I don't really understand why this is stable. I guess our center of mass isn't off. Maybe that's how. So I mean, obviously stability would be like a very important thing. It's much more controllable now, I assume, because it's heavy. Oh great, I don't have all of my directions like perfect. It can do it, it's just a question of actually getting it to. There we go. So, I'm gonna guess that has something to do with the center of mass being correct to get that. So lastly, in our basic tutorials, we have resource gathering. So we need to attach a resource tank and a resource collector part to gather resources. Empty the full resource tanks into the container by flying over it. Collect the required amount of resources to finish the tutorial. There are two kinds of resources. They can be exchanged for a variety of cool stuff depending on the game mode. Okay, we have a resource collector, we have a resource tank, we have... So let's start with our standard thrusters, you know? And I almost feel like we should put one here and face it the other way. Because that's what we would need for like full control, right? Somehow? In my head I feel like that makes sense. So we're gonna put our resources in the back, so I want to know my center of gravity. So we need fuel. So we need to pull this forward. So it's pretty centered. I assume we need a battery as well. Yeah, actually, I'd like to attach that over here because then maybe we can... Okay, so now we're actually seeing our weight going forward a bit. What happens if we launch that? I didn't assign keys to anything. I do wish, I'm like, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's not, I suppose. So we can finally get D in there. So we need to collect resources. What does this mean? Oh, maybe I need to... Does this need a key? Yeah, so collect. We can do E. Why not? What else needs buttons? Do you need buttons? Tank full. What do I do with tank full? I mean... So to... Oh, I didn't really mean to do that. So left mouse, I suppose we can try that. Okay, so our tank looks like it's probably full. So if we'd put in more tanks, we could have, you know, collected more of that. Okay, so 1 tank equals... Let me out! I'm stuck! Let me out! Alright, so now we have to go back. So like... Alright, so it's full again. We should have just, you know, had... So it does that automatically. I don't have to press a button to make it do that. So we need one more run of our resources. Alright, so we definitely should have just made this with more... Oh, frame rate. Hello. We should have made this with more tanks. I just assumed we only needed 1 because it was a tutorial. But 3 would have made this very, very simple. Alright, so we've done all of the basic tutorials. There are advanced tutorials, but they're not required to play basic survival. So I assume that's in the single player, which we will try out the next time I play Nimbatus. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'm the Purple Pegasus, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!